TeSean had a kind spirit. He was very, very humble. Very humble. He loved to help people. He wasn't perfect, but he was my son. He loved family. He was a jokester. That kind of sums it up for TeSean. Yeah. He was 1 in a million. He was 1 in a million for sure.
What's one thing that will always stand out to you about TeSean?
His personality, his love for family, his humbleness. I gave you 3. His humbleness. I could buy him one of the 97-cent cars at Walmart, and you would think he won $1 million. So I could definitely say he made me proud. He made me very proud.
And how old was he when we lost him?
He was 18.
As much or as little that you want to share, tell us about that day that we lost him.
The day that the incident occurred, I was at work. I was getting ready to leave work, and I got a phone call. And the person on the other end said that he had been shot. They heard that he had been shot. Well, for me, I couldn't get off the job site fast enough. I called his sister, Akila, and she could hear in my voice something was wrong. And I told her, your brother's just been shot. At that time, we didn't know how bad the situation was. I'm thinking, maybe he's been shot in the leg or maybe the arm. And we're trying to get directions how to get there. I'm riding on Bush. I'm in the Sulphur Springs area. And we didn't see anything. So as we started traveling on Bush, my daughter says, Mom, there's lights over there. I think that's where it's at. So I make a U-turn. There was a lot of cop cars, yellow tape. I jump out my vehicle and I tell the cops, and I think it was a detective, that I got a phone call about my son. They asked me his name, and I said TeSean. And cop asked me, does he go by another name? And I said, I think it's Bama. And I remember him saying, that's him. And I just started screaming. I don't remember if I actually passed out. I remember them sitting me down in a chair. And I'm just still screaming. So I'm asking if I could see him. And they tell me that they taken him to Temple General. They asked if I wanted them to take me or my daughter. So my daughter drives the Temple General. And the whole ride, I'm in the back seat. I'm praying. And I keep saying, he's okay. He's okay. He's okay. This is what I'm telling myself. He's okay. He's okay, God. I know he's okay. And I keep telling myself, maybe he got shot in the leg, he got shot in the arm, but he's going to be okay. And I remember saying something to the effect of, TeSean, you're going to make me tear you up. Or something to the effect of that. And my granddaughter says, Mimi, why would you say that? And I said, because he's about to give me a heart attack. So we drive on to the hospital. And the guard gives us directions. We get to the hospital. I run to the front desk. And I tell them, I need to see my son. They just brought him in. And the guy at the front desk says, we don't have anyone by that name. So my daughter sees a couple of paramedics. And she goes over to them. And she's asking about her brother, which is my son. And they just keep, the guy at the front desk just keeps saying, we don't have anyone by that name. So I wait a little while. I go back to him again. And I said, I need to see my son. You don't understand. This is my baby. I need to see my son. I need to see my son. And I just kept saying, this is my baby. I need to see him. And so I walk to the restroom. Me and my granddaughter go to the restroom. And I start pacing. And I'm just like, he's going to be okay. God, I know he's going to be okay. God, I know he's going to be okay. So we're sitting there after a while. And I stop. And I look at my daughter and our friend. And I say, he didn't make it. And my daughter started screaming, crying. And I say, I dreamt this. But in my dream, certain things was happening. But because I had dreamt it 2 days prior, and we were together that day, I didn't think anything of it. I remember when we departed ways, I was going over to the outlet. I gave him money. And I said, I love you and be safe. He said, I love you too, Mom. I didn't think 8 hours later, I would get that phone call. So as we are at the hospital, I see maybe 3 or 4 people walk over to me. And one said he was a chaplain. And they said, we need to speak in private. And so I said, there's a corner right there. And he said, no, we need to speak in private. So we walked to this room. We walked up to this room, and they say for 10 minutes in the ambulance, they tried to work on him. They couldn't get a heartbeat. And once he arrived at the hospital, they tried to work on him for another 25 minutes. And they still couldn't get a heartbeat. So I remember, sitting up in a chair, getting closer to them. And I said, "What are you trying to tell me?" And I heard the words that no parent wants to ever hear. And they said, "We lost him." Yes, I just remember screaming, crying. And my daughter said I hit the floor and I passed out. And it's like my niece, I remember my niece coming over. I do remember that because she ended up driving me home. My sister and brother were out the country. And I remember once I get home, I just went in his room. I sat on his bed against the wall. And I just cried. And my niece was holding me. I tried to be the best mom possible. No parent wants to bury their child. No parent wants to have to go through that. Your kids are supposed to bury you. You're not supposed to have to bury a child. My son was 18 years old. He was just beginning to live his life. And I wholeheartedly believe that he would be playing in the NBA because of his basketball skills. He loved basketball. When he was 14 and he came to Florida with my sister, she put him in a basketball camp. And some of the kids in the camp had been doing it year after year after year. This was his first year. He ended up getting a trophy because he was so good. I was so proud of him. Was he perfect? No. But he was my son. He was my baby.
Farrah, do you know who shot him?
Yes.
Has that person, did they get arrested for this? Do you know what happened to that individual?
Yes, he was arrested. But unfortunately, I think due to technicalities, I'm not for sure, but he was arrested. However, after him even admitting that he did it, You know what I'm saying? That he was shooting up in the air, or he was shooting at the ground. He was acquitted. He was acquitted. And it's like, for me, I had to relive that all over again. Some of his family members, especially his sisters, had to relive that nightmare all over again. We could never understand how someone that admitted to such a heinous crime walked away free. And I would never forget the cops and the detectives asking that individual, did you have beef with him? Did anyone have beef with him? And his response was no. From my understanding, everyone loved him. The only thing that the detectives could tell me was that you take someone that's been living here their whole life, someone new moves here, and people start gravitating to him. The other individuals that's from here are jealous. So, from their standpoint, it was due to jealousy. He didn't have any boots. It was due to jealousy. And when I spoke with the detective, I said, are you serious? And he said to me, you could not imagine how many people, how many cases we have where people have lost their lives due to someone else being jealous of them. My son would not hurt anybody. He did not like drama. He would get onto his sisters and tell them they're doing too much. Even though he was baby, he would get onto them. He didn't have it in his heart to hurt anyone. He was a happy person. I remember him calling me at work sometimes and him telling me, Tink, that was his nickname for me. Don't be mad, but such and such doesn't have any food to eat. So I'm going to cook for them. I said, okay. Make sure you clean up your mess. I would fuss at him a little bit, but I knew his heart was in the right place. And this one day, he called me at work again, and he said, Mom, don't fuss, don't yell at me, don't embarrass me when you come home. But XYZ doesn't have anywhere to stay tonight. Can they stay here? I said, I guess, TeSean. I said, I guess, but you're not going to keep bringing everybody here. And at night when I got home, well, it should have just been one individual. He had, I think it was 5 guys in his room. I couldn't do anything but walk over, give him a kiss, and tell him, I love you. Because I always felt like if the kids were in my place of residence, then they were not out getting in trouble. And that's what mattered to me. As I said, was he perfect? No. Not by a long shot. But he was my son. It was my son.
Tara, describe TeSean in one word.
Very humble.
And now, describe how you are, even 6 years late, in one word.
Hurt. Undeniably hurt. It's a hurt that I don't ever want anyone to feel.
Of course, we know that TeSean is always with you, and you are always with him. But if he were sitting right here with us right now, what would you want to say to him?
I love you. I'm always going to love you. I'm always going to have your back, front, and both sides, as long as you're doing what's right. Like I couldn't tell him I love you enough. But I'm so thankful that my family believes in always saying I love you. And that was the last thing that I said to him was, I love you. I want these young kids to know there's other ways of handling situations. I know that it's a tough world out there, but I need you guys to understand that when you pick up a gun and you take someone's life, not only is that family forever damaged, but you have forever damaged your family. My family will never be the same. I will never be the same. His siblings will never be the same. His aunts and uncles will never be the same. His cousins will never be the same, because it did not have to happen. Put the guns down. Please put the guns down. We need more love and less hate. We need more love and less hate. You have TeSean with his sisters. So here, TeSean graduated kindergarten. And you have him with his nephew, which was his last Christmas. He loved his nephew. Here you have him with his grandmother, that's also in heaven. You have him with his sister. You have him with his oldest sister when he was a baby. Right here, you have him with his auntie, me, and his niece when we first moved to Florida. You have the garden to soon, Bama. Right here, you have a blanket that was made for me by my daughters. And it means rest in love. I love you, son. He had a chunky little face. So right here, you have him as a baby. You have him with his cousin Sabrina. She had this made for me. You can see the little smile. He always smiled. You have him right here with his niece and his nephew again when they were first born. This photo is of him when he was a little baby with his two big sisters. That would be a photo of me and him. As you can see again, he loved to smile. This is actually a photo when he came down and played basketball. And he won a trophy, which I was very, very proud of him for. His auntie was very proud of him for. That was in the summer of 2014. We were very proud of him. We have this photo of him. His sisters when he was younger. His basketball photo. And with his auntie. He loved his aunties. This photo is the year of 2014 when he was actually coming to Florida to be with his TC. On this photo, you have him with his TT and his auntie. The last Christmas that we celebrated with him. Yes, he was tall. He was very tall. Then you have him with two of his cousins the same year on Christmas. That was the last Christmas that we celebrated with him. This photo, he was getting ready to go out in his gym shorts with his t-shirt, play basketball. This photo, he was a baby. This is a photo where he was having his hair grow. And I called myself, he wanted 2 ponytails. So I was attempting to do the 2 ponytails. This is a photo where he and his sisters and myself were dining out. And I told them to take a photo together. These are just random photos of my son. This photo is of him and his niece, who he loved unconditionally, just like he loved his nephew unconditionally. This is also another random photo. These are just photos of him and his family, who he adored. He adored his family. He was all about family. This photo is one of my favorites of my son. This photo was taken about 2 weeks before the incident took place. He had such a contagious smile. He had a smile that could light up any room. It was a 1 in a million smile. A smile that I miss. Every single day. The smile that I'll never get over. Because he was just that kind of young man. He wanted everyone to be happy. He wanted everyone to be happy around him. Even when his friends, and he would get into it about the game console, he would say a joke to break the ice. That's the type of young man my son was.